is a brief interval where Alicia's gone. She's trying on some shorts that I got for her. She likes baggy shorts, so I got her some. This is a new jumper. It's got Lisa Simpson on. Simpson. I thought it was Marge at first. I like this angle. This angle's not flattering for me.
The undershorts fit, but this over bit doesn't.
Yes, but I don't know what's my best angle.
If my mum just turned in these. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's Marking Ariana Free and it is Wednesday. I'm filming this Tuesday night because once again, I'm running out of time to do videos. But today, in this video, we are going to be assigning superpowers to the characters of the next step. Yeah, by the way, my hair has now changed. The green has gone. I have dyed my hair back to my normal natural colour. It's dark again. This is not my hair though, this is fake. I've just braided it into my hair. On Sunday you'll see what my actual hair is because I'm not wearing braided hair in Sunday's video because it's guessed the reference and we filmed that like last week. But yeah, today we're rocking the braids. I'm liking my makeup today as well. Okay, so let's kick it off with invisibility. So the characters that I would give this superpower, I'm going to list them off first and I'll explain. So we have Piper, Riley, Sloane and Lola. So let's talk about Piper first. I feel like Piper has had many instances on the next step where she just kind of wants to disappear into the floor and not be there, and also because she's had quite an anxious and shy personality, I think if she could be invisible she probably would choose to have that ability. Like for example, when Josh rejected her, when the whole Finn and Amy situation happened, she probably wanted to go a bit invisible then. When she messed up her Ariel on stage, that's probably the main one, because if she could literally just turn invisible then that would have solved the issue probably, because no one would have noticed. Well, they might have noticed the girl disappearing into thin air, but you know what I mean, she wanted to feel invisible then, so that's why I would give her that superpower. As well as this, Riley I think would probably want to be made invisible as well. She made a lot of errors, especially in season 4, and she just had to deal with them head on. If she could have just made herself invisible and disappeared for like the entire season, I think she probably would have done that. And I just think in a very similar way to Piper, Riley's had a lot of instances where she would like to be invisible as well. Like she went through some tough times really. I think Sloane would have wanted to make herself invisible when she was performing the regional solo, when she accidentally cheated and she did choreo in the freestyle round. She probably would have wanted to go invisible then. And lastly, I think I could really see if Lola had the power of invisibility, when she broke Rochelle's shoes, she probably would have done that while being invisible so no one knew it was her. I think also when Alden mistakenly said her name instead of Jackie's, Lola would have wanted to just turn invisible because of how embarrassed she was. So then we have the superpower of strength, and I've picked two people for this. I've picked Noah and Skylar. I think Noah, just straight off the bat, you know, we've seen his muscles. We all, like, Amanda's seen his muscles. Noah is just that kind of person who would be working out every single day, and I think if he could have superhuman strength, he would be the one to have it on the team. And then also Skylar. Skylar might not be your obvious choice, but I remember that Skylar used to be on the rugby team, and obviously rugby players are really strong. They're not aggressive, but they're very like hands-on, and I think super strength could probably really help Skylar with her rugby. And not only that, but Skylar's personality is very strong and driven, and she has like one idea in her head that she wants to do, and she doesn't really like it when people go against her. So I think if she was really strong, that could give her that edge to kind of manipulate people and kind of intimidate them into agreeing with her decisions.
But that doesn't mean we can just go and ignore everything that's gone wrong. The next step needs a strong leader, and Riley hasn't proved that she can be that for us. Riley isn't a good leader. I can't believe everyone is just buying into this.
Then we have the ability to stop time and control it. So this one is kind of like a funny one, I've seen it as, so I would give this to Kingston, Finn, Chloe and James. Both Kingston and James struggled with their schoolwork, and I think they'd both be very appreciative of the ability to just have a bit more time on their hands to get it all sorted.
Look, I know you're working really hard on your math in this solo. I mean, look at you. You just can't do both.
And I think for Chloe, if she had more time in the day to work and do dance in season 1, that would have helped her out really nicely. Finn as well, if Finn could stop time and control it, he could have stopped time before he fell asleep in season 7, because, you know, that caused drama. I'm not going to give spoilers. Also, every time he's been late for a date, like both friendship and romantic with Piper, like, he wouldn't be late because he could just stop time, get to where he needs to go, restart time again and he'd be on time for things. So I just think it would be very useful for them. Then we have mind control, and this one I took from quite a manipulative point of view. So if these two characters had the ability to control minds, they'd probably use it to their advantage. So I chose Lily and Beth. Lily, I think, would manipulate people into just making her get her own way, because Lily really does strike me as this kind of person.
I have strong opinions, and people need to hear them. Well, if you don't like the song, then you just don't like me.
I guess we're broken up then.
You know, that's fine by me.
I mean, I don't like her really. I don't like her personality. I feel like she's very bratty. I just feel like if Lily could control people's minds and even control Kingston's mind into not arguing with her and agreeing with every single thing that she thought, she probably would do that. And with Beth, I think if she could have manipulated James and controlled his mind into liking her instead of Riley, she definitely would have done that in season 1 and 2 before she had that heartwarming moment where she found the 4-leaf clover. Okay, and related to mind control, we then have mind reading. So all of these characters that I've listed, they would be able to read the minds of other people and be able to better themselves because they'd know how people were thinking. So I've chosen Amy, Hunter and Jackie. Amy, I think, would really benefit from being able to read minds because of the amount of times boys have screwed her over. So we had LaTroy, who screwed her over in season 4 because he didn't even like her. He liked Sloane, but he didn't tell her. And then we had, if she could read Henry's mind, she'd know that Henry wanted to go to prom with her and not Ty. And then if she could read Finn's mind, she'd know that he deep down liked Piper. So I just think that would really help her out. Then we have Hunter, and the same kind of thing as Amy. I think Hunter would really benefit from being able to read Michelle's mind, but not only that, Emily's mind, because when Emily faked, well, she didn't fake it, when she broke up with Hunter to make Amanda convinced that she was on her side, if Hunter could have just read Emily's mind, they wouldn't have needed to break up. Like, it would have helped out so much. I thought that Jackie might like mind reading to just have like an advantage over people, and also I could really see Jackie being controlling over Noah if she had the ability to read his mind. So if you think back to when Jackie like commented on how Noah complimented Summer's turns and she said they weren't even that good, things like that I could see Jackie reading Noah's mind about rather than him like actually orally saying it. She'd be like, oh no, why are you thinking about that? No, why are you thinking about this? She'd really use it just like, she'd be intrusive of other people's thoughts, but she'd use it to her own advantage. Then we have teleportation, and for this I have given it to Finn. I know I said about Finn being able to stop time earlier, but I also think that if Finn could teleport himself to places, he wouldn't be late for one, and also when he was late, he wouldn't have to be any later because he could just teleport himself there. Then shape-shifting, and shape-shifting I want you to think about in a way of, I could turn myself into this pot of Garnier hair food, not a sponsor, it's just here, or I could just turn myself into these glasses, I could turn myself into another person, just things like that. So the people I have given shape-shifting ability are Kenzie, Giselle, Davis and Cassie. First off, Kenzie, I would have given this for quite a funny reason. I think Kenzie, if she could turn herself into a more noticeable character and a character with a storyline, she probably would. Yeah, I said it. On a more useful note, I think if Giselle had the ability to shapeshift, she'd definitely shapeshift herself into these mad, like, I don't know, just shapes. Like, she'd probably still stay as Giselle, but then maybe shapeshift so her arms are really long or something, or she'd shapeshift so she has no bones in her body, just something quite crazy, because I think that element of Giselle's personality was really likeable. With Davis, I'd relate this to Kenzie's kind of thing. I think Davis was quite insecure in herself. She wasn't very confident. People called her Blonde Jackie. I mean, like...
Oh, Blonde Jackie, you're so great at what you do. I'm not Blonde Jackie. I don't like being compared to Jackie at all.
She wasn't her own person really, so I think if Davis had the ability to shapeshift into something more noticeable, she definitely would. And lastly, because Cassie had all of the insecurities about her height, I think if Cassie could shapeshift into someone a little bit shorter, then she probably would, even though she definitely doesn't have to, because, you know, you've got to love yourself and love how tall you are. For super intelligence, I have given this to James in season 1 and Zara. Zara is our resident mathlete. You know, she loves math, she also loves dance. So I think if Zara could be even more intelligent at math, she definitely would want to be. James really struggled with school, like he said. I mean, so did Kingston, but I feel like Kingston just didn't put the effort in, whereas James more so struggled on his actual ability. So I think if James had super intelligence, that would really help him out in season 1.
2 sine squared theta minus 1.
3? No.
The ability to stop time and control it, I would give to Kingston, Finn, Chloe, James and Jude. I think Jude would benefit from this because if she was struggling to learn choreo, she could literally just stop time, go over it as many times as she needs to, continue time, and then she would have got it.
I can't pick up choreo this fast, and I can't do it. It takes me more time to understand and fully get things in my brain.
Okay, and then the super ability of flight, I would give to Heath, Grace and Alfie. And you're probably thinking, isn't Heath scared of flying? Exactly. I think Heath is scared of flying because it's out of his control that the plane is flying. Like he says himself, he doesn't know what his feet are standing on and he doesn't like the fact that they're in the air. If Heath himself could fly and he was the one in control of his ability to fly, I don't think he'd be as scared as it. I don't think he'd be as scared of it. And also, he'd probably fly himself to Dance Mania. He wouldn't have to get into a plane. I'd also give the power of flight to Grace because she goes on about how she's always dropped in lifts and stuff. If she could fly and she was dropped in a lift, she could literally just hover herself before she hits the ground. And then Alfie, this is quite a funny reason, but just the amount of flights that everyone was getting in season 4, if they all, well yeah, actually I'm going to give the power of flight to James, Alfie and Riley because the amount of flights they all went on in season 4 must have been hella expensive, so I'm just going to give them the power of flight and then they can travel for free across the borders. Wait, is that allowed? Like, if you can fly, do you still have to like cross borders and do passport checks and stuff? Then I would give Henry, Summer, Alden, Talia and Max the power of enhanced senses. Maybe they have like an extraordinary sense of smell, they have a great power of touch, they have the sense of being, I don't know, but for Henry and Summer I would give them enhanced senses because I just feel like they're very sensitive people, especially Summer. I just think if she did have enhanced senses it would suit her personality very well. Also for Henry, like in season 4 he's a lot more of a zen chill guy. I think that would match him very well, but even in the later seasons he is very sensitive as a person. He's very kind, very friendly. I just think that if Henry could be a better person he probably would be. For Alden and Talia I was thinking of the sweet spot scenes, and Summer also talked about sweet spots in season 6.
That's actually my favorite sweet spot.
Oh, well, I'm prone to finding sweet spots.
I knew I liked you.
So if they could have enhanced senses when it came to finding sweet spots in the room and like going off the auras and the you know, just the atmosphere and all the positive energy, that is something really relatable to their personalities. With Max, I kind of just went a bit crazy with this one because Max was just a bit weird, and I feel like if anyone was to have superpowers secretly, it would be him, and they'd be such subtle superpowers. Just things like enhanced senses would sit well with me for him to have. The power of immortality I would give to Ozzy. And you're probably thinking, have they ever expressed they didn't want to die? But Ozzy, I just feel like he's very arrogant at times, and because he always wants to win battles and stuff, if you translate it to an actual battle in real life, you know, with like weapons and fists and whatever, if he had the power of immortality, he would go into those battles so confident and he'd just be unstoppable basically.
Kingston thinks he's a better dancer than me? I'm every bit as good as he is, and I can prove it.
Second to last, we have the ability to have every power. So all the ones that we've mentioned and more, every single power in the world, I would give to Cleo, West and Michelle. And they're all for different reasons. So Cleo, I think, is so full of herself and goal-driven and ambitious that she'd want to have the ability to do absolutely everything so no one could tell her that she couldn't.
If I can convince Rochelle that being dance captain is a waste of her time, we'll become friends, and that'll secure my spot on A Troop.
West, on the other hand, I could really see him being able to do everything but not really knowing how to control it. He'd be so overexcited. Like, he'd just randomly pick up a car to prove a point and throw it, and then he'd accidentally hurt someone, so then he'd stop time and go back and do it again, or he'd teleport himself to the other side so he could catch the car before it hits him. You know, he'd be so full of energy all the time that having every single power would really blow his mind.
Literally, this kid does not understand gravity, he just kind of pushes through it.
And then Michelle, I think she'd want them to prove a point, so I could imagine Michelle having every single power in like season 1 and 2 really, and maybe season 4. Yeah, season 4 maybe over them all, because season 4 she really wanted to prove a point and prove herself as a dancer and as a member of A Troop. So if she had the ability to do everything, she'd have the edge over everybody else.
This is the new me.
I'm determined, I'm focused, and nothing is going to stand in my way.
And finally, we have the power of self-sustainability, and this basically means that you don't need to eat, you don't need to eat. I just said that. You don't need to eat, you don't need to drink, you don't need to sleep, you don't even need to breathe. You just run on nothing, basically. You have all the time in the world for everything because you don't need to do those basic things. And I would give this power to Emily, Rochelle, and Daniel. I just think all three of these people, if they didn't have to stop to rest, they wouldn't. Especially Rochelle, I could just see her rehearsing like all day, 24 hours a day, because she doesn't need to sleep, she doesn't need to eat, she doesn't need to drink. Why do I keep saying eat twice? She doesn't need to eat or drink, she just can run on nothing.
I decided I needed to try harder to make my mark on A-Troop. So I came in early to put in some extra work.
Same with Daniel, same with Emily. I just think it fits their personalities very well.
So I get to have a quiet morning at the studio by myself.
So let me know down below any more superpowers you can think of. I tried to get a good array of them, but if you can think of any more that suit any of these characters plus more characters, let me know down below. Also let me know what you think of my assignations, is that a word? Assigned powers for characters. Yeah, let me know. And I'll see you on Sunday, because I'm not doing Friday uploads anymore because of my work schedule. So I'll see you on Sunday for Guess the Reference. Spoiler, it's going to be with Danny Varayo, who plays Cleo on The Next Step, so I hope you're excited for that. And I've also have the next 2 guests confirmed, so this is going to be going on for at least a few more weeks. I'm so happy about it, so proud. Yeah, I'll see you later, guys. Bye.